Hi everyone, time for another video. This time I wanted to do the topic of anger. I've been painting this miniature probably for the last week or so, on and off, and I've been racking my brain trying to figure out what would the topic be. And I didn't realize that the topic was staring me in the face at the end of my paintbrush. The reason is that the miniature that I'm painting is a character from the Warhammer 40,000 universe named Asmodai of the Dark Angels chapter of Space Marines. His job is as an interrogator chaplain, and he's meant to go around inciting levels of hatred and rage in his fellow brothers for the enemies of the Imperium. He also hunts down fallen brothers that have turned away from the chapter. And there's a whole book and stories based on this that I will completely geek out on if I continue talking about it. But to suffice to say that the miniature is the embodiment of anger and rage. Now, I know there'll be other gamers out there that would probably argue this point. They would say, no, blood for the blood god. And those gamers who will know what I'm talking about. But I'm painting Asmodai, and as a good guy, he's probably the embodiment of the anger and rage. So, when it comes to this particular character, Asmodai, I would say that he has a refined form of anger. Anger is not necessarily a positive or negative emotion, and the emotions that we generally feel are not positive or negative, they just are. Anger, however, is a secondary emotion, and it's usually used to cover up a primary emotion. And so, classic example of what this looks like is an argument with a couple, and I see this almost daily in my practice as a therapist. Is that one person will say something, the other person will feel that they are ashamed or hurt or criticized, and to protect that primary feeling, that reactive feeling that gets triggered, they will then use anger. Unfortunately, that anger is unrefined. And so what's the difference between, say, the refined anger of Asmodai and the unrefined anger of a client? Is that the difference between the two is awareness. Unlike the clients in the room, Asmodai can channel his anger towards getting an outcome that he wants. He knows exactly what he wants and what he wants to go after and how he's going to do it. He's in control of it. It almost sounds a bit like Star Wars, like being in control of your fear, being in control of your anger. And it's almost like Sith-like, right? Dark side. With clients and with the real world situations, clients will get angry, or we've all felt it, right? We'll get angry and it'll explode. It'll be aggressive. It'll be unrefined. It'll be bleeding out of us, and often causing quite significant damage to the environment around us or the loved ones that we care about. So we really want to refine this anger, this emotion. The key to it is awareness or mindfulness. I hate to use the word mindfulness because that word gets thrown around like candy. But awareness is pretty much key in all things. And awareness allows us to capture that emotion when we react, hold on to it, and deliver it in a way that's a lot more healthy and a lot more refined. One of the problems with trying to gain the awareness, and I see this all the time in couple spaces, and it's particularly coming from the guys, is that they have a valid concern that they bring up and they're quite upset and angry about, and they deliver that to their partner. Their partner, scared of the anger, cowers away, and rightly so. Like, guys can be pretty aggressive, much stronger as well, it's a more intimidating threat. What that then does to the guy is he feels like he's not being heard, and so becomes more aggressive. Because what's the point of the aggression? What's the point of being angry? Is that I'm going to raise my voice. I'm going to become more aggressive so that you see me and you acknowledge me. And if you don't, there's a very significant threat coming your way. And so when I say to couples and people who are going through this sort of stuff, it's to be able to notice the reaction that you have. They often say, well, I should just not be angry then, which is in itself a reactive comment. I should just not be angry. And that's not it at all. It's not about dismissing anger or invalidating your anger. And this is, I guess, part of the secret to refining the anger, is that once you have the awareness around it, you can actually hold it and deliver it in a more appropriate way. And so it's a rather simple concept to be able to become aware of the emotions that you feel at any given time, hold them with that awareness, but then also let it out in a way that's a lot more refined. Rather than going from 0 to 100 in an automatic reactive response, we can go maybe 0 to 10 or 0 to 50 or 0 to 100. We've all been able to do it in different times for the most part across our lives. Very easy example is simply when you go to a restaurant or a cafe and the order that you've placed comes out incorrect. You have to speak up about that, unless you just accept it. And I mean, I do have clients that I'm working with currently about actually speaking up when they get their orders wrong. But that is a refined version of that frustration. Excuse me, you've actually got this wrong. Can you please correct that mistake? Appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, no problems. Yeah, let me do that. I had no idea. The anger is very, very mild. It's refined. And there's all this cultural setting stuff around it as well. But what comes back is, yes, you've mentioned something. I see you. Let me help you out with that. And extend the concept of that to other areas of one's life. Much like Asmodai. Destroying the enemies of the Imperium with a very refined form of anger. So there you have it. Very basic introduction to anger. There's a lot of concepts in there that could probably be talked about a lot more in depth, but for the most part, just see how this goes. If you have any questions, by all means, reach out. As always, like and subscribe. I can't believe I'm actually saying that. And of course, if you had feedback, leave a comment below. Thanks very much, guys. I will see you in the next video.